Have you ever noticed that right when you're about to change your life, everything seems to fall apart? You finally decide to become confident, start the business, heal the relationship, make more money, or step into a new version of yourself. And suddenly you procrastinate. You doubt yourself. You feel anxious. You want to quit. Most people think this means they're on the wrong path. But what if it's actually a sign that you're getting close to becoming someone new? Hey, y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Naya Iman, but you can call me Nye. And this is your space for mindset shifts, self-improvement, and overall stepping into your best self. And today I have a super interesting video planned for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about what really happens when you begin breaking beyond your current identity and why your subconscious mind will often fight you every step of the way. Y'all, this is one of the most frustrating things about manifesting a new reality to me. Like, we already got to work through past traumas, remove limiting beliefs, unlearn and relearn the ways of life. And then you mean to tell me when I finally did all the work and I get close to the breakthrough, my brain and body start working against me to bring me back down? You gotta be kidding me. Let's just get into this and see what's really going on, because this is ghetto. Okay, if y'all are familiar with my channel, you know we talk a lot about identity and how it subconsciously shapes your whole life. People don't create from goals. And just because you set your mind to something doesn't mean it's going to be easily obtained. And the reason it can't be so simple is the fact that people tend to perceive, interpret, remember, and act in ways that are consistent with their self-concept. Now, I am going to do a separate video about the self-concept at a later date, so I'm not going to go too in-depth in this video. But what I will say is your self-concept is essentially the view you have of yourself and what you believe to be true about yourself. Researchers describe this as a knowledge structure containing beliefs about our traits, abilities, values, goals, and roles in society. We as people create from identity. So think of the self-concept as the programming through which you build your reality. So your self-image influences your actions. Your actions, when repeated often, form neurological pathways that become stronger the more you travel them. These are called your habits. This is why it's so hard for people to change, even though they decide that it's what they want to do. This is why it's so common for people to make New Year's resolutions and then give up on them not even halfway through the year. Most people try to change the outcomes of their reality before changing their self-concept. And that's where the resistance comes from. Remember, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. It is simply a reflection of you, and it will always work with you to prove you right about yourself. The Bible says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything that you do flows from it. And I feel like that's just a reminder for us that our inner thoughts and motives are who we are, and it reflects in our everyday life. For instance, someone who identifies as unlucky will unconsciously find evidence to prove that to be true. But someone who identifies as successful notices opportunities and eagerly takes advantage of them. Same world, different identity filter. This is why it's so important to identify and release whatever identity blocks that you suffer from. It's literally the bridge between you and your dream life. So exactly why does the brain and body work against us in the first place? Well, see, the subconscious mind has one primary mission: survival. And that's obviously a very valuable system to have running, but the downfall is that happiness, fulfillment, and abundance, those don't really matter to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind operates beneath the conscious awareness and runs on basic evolutionary programming, prioritizing immediate survival, rapid pattern recognition, and instinctual emotional responses over logic. It learns from past experiences to build habits that are in alignment with the familiar. To the subconscious mind, familiar equals safe, even if it's not logical or what you consciously choose. And what makes it even crazier is that cognitive science estimates that the subconscious runs about 90 to 95% of all mental activity, including the vast majority of our daily decisions, behaviors, and automatic bodily functions. So in other words, the subconscious mind is not nothing to play with. It rules your entire life, and its judgments are based on whether or not something is familiar or unfamiliar. That's how it decides what's good or bad. So for instance, for some people, to the subconscious mind, toxic relationships feel familiar. I was guilty of this. I spent 6 years of my life in a very toxic on again, off again relationship with one person. He was my very first boyfriend, and it took a lot of suffering and breaking down of that old identity for me to wake up and walk away. And mind you, I became consciously aware of the misalignment way before I was able to actually free myself from it. I had to identify and break away from that ghost of low self-esteem that I subconsciously carried. And when I finally started to see my worth, that's when I had enough courage to physically move. For some people, financial struggle feels familiar. That's why so many people win the lottery and then revert back to poverty quickly after that. I mean, think about it. These are average, everyday people one day and then millionaires the next. They've done nothing to actually earn the money, no inner work to then maintain the money. So inwardly, they're still the version of themselves that was averaging 20K a year, but now outwardly they're rich. Because of the misalignment between their identity or their self-concept and their physical reality, things have no choice but to return to an equilibrium. They don't decide to just go back broke. Their subconscious mind influences them to self-sabotage back into a state of familiarity, aka lack. The brain loves certainty. Anything unfamiliar gets flagged as a threat. So when you start evolving or things around you start moving unexpectedly, new opportunities arrive, momentum starts building. This can cause anxiety to increase, resistance to increase, and doubt as well. Not because you're failing, but because your nervous system is entering unknown territory. You're now all of a sudden defying gravity. Your body says that's not safe. So it works in conjunction with the universe to shock you back down to ground zero. So let's talk a little bit about what happens in that in-between stage. You're no longer your old self, but not yet fully evolved into the new version of you either. Now, for me, this is the most terrifying stage of shifting because it's like everything just falls apart. The last in-between phase I went through literally took everybody closest to me outside of my family. I lost friends that I thought were sisters to me, seemingly for no reason. The relationship that I thought was the real thing just dissolve. All of the roots that I tried to plant were ripped from the ground violently. I started feeling disconnected, losing motivation for goals that I had been working toward. I was confused, lonely some days, emotional ups and downs. Like it was just a lot. And in this phase, a lot of people actually turn back. They ditch their boundaries and resort back to people pleasing just for the sake of having someone there, or they go back to the job that disrespected them, limited their growth, and kept them from launching their own business. Because to them, uncertainty feels more painful than familiarity. Now, I could have easily been one of those people as well. And believe me, I was tempted. But I realized internally that my current reality falling apart was a reflection of me growing past the limits of it. I simply had outgrown the life and relationships that I had attracted as a lesser version of myself. And even though it hurt to feel like I lost something, I would rather shed what's not for me in order to make room for the things and people that are in alignment with my most fulfilled identity. Before your outer world changes, your internal reality shifts first. Now, this will create a temporary mismatch, but remember, it's just temporary. Your mind may tell you nothing is moving when in reality, everything is reorganizing. You just have to maintain your focus on what you want and not what you see currently. So you made the decision. You're going after something new. You're going to have a higher paying job, a hotter boyfriend that loves you way better than your loser ex, and a banging body that is only made possible by your rigorous and hyper organized lifestyle and hygiene routine. And for a little while, you actually commit to that. You wake up earlier and feel motivated and focused, even start feeling a little momentum. This finally feels like the breakthrough. And then you start procrastinating, overthinking. All of a sudden, it's so important for every detail to be perfected before you take a step forward. Or maybe that toxic ex just popped back up. Now all of a sudden you're conflicted when you know he's no good for you. These are all forms of self-sabotage. procrastination, overthinking, perfectionism, quitting, picking fights, returning to old habits or relationships. You might have noticed one or more of these things popping up in your life, especially when you're close to a breakthrough. But what if I told you that self-sabotage is not self-destruction? The subconscious mind will pull these tricks when it's trying to get you back down to known territory, like a thermostat. If you've lived at a certain identity level for years, whether that be income, your confidence level, or your relationship standards, your subconscious mind will always try to regulate back to that. For instance, Tracy just started a business. Now, this is something that she's always dreamt about doing, and she finally pulled the trigger, took the leap of faith, and launched it. And she does all right by herself, but for some reason, she just can't break past a certain level of income. She knows she needs a mentor who can show her the ropes. So every day she prays about it, she envisions it, and she really gets excited about this destiny helper. And that manifested as an opportunity for her to work with one of the best business coaches out there. But right before she can fully step into things, she just loses it, starts missing deadlines, talks herself out of posting until she just stops showing up altogether. And eventually that opportunity to work with that mentor becomes a missed one. And it wasn't that Tracy didn't want the success, she just wasn't familiar with it. Many people call these experiences tests from the universe. But how I see it, they're just opportunities to choose your new identity. When things pop up like this and you feel that pull to revert back to your old identity, you need to be reframing those thoughts. It's not a test. It's a chance for you to fire up a new neural pathway that is in alignment with what you want. The more you do this, the more that neural pathway gets traveled. This builds a new habit for you, and a good habit. Remember, habits trigger your actions, and those actions, when compounded, are what build your reality. Who cares if a trap was set for you? You have the choice to either return to your old life or use that as an opportunity to reinforce the new self-concept. Every level of growth asks one question: will you react as your past self or respond as your future self? Okay, so what are we doing about this? How do we actually break through to the other side? Well, first you need to start reframing your mind. Expect resistance. Resistance is not evidence that you're failing, it's evidence that you're changing. The next is nervous system regulation. You need to focus on becoming a more relaxed version of yourself so that you can receive. I actually just uploaded a video about the nervous system and how to get yourself out of survival mode, so check that out if you need to. But yeah, remove things that are triggering you and practice more grounding exercises. Breathwork, meditation, walking, journaling, all of these are techniques that, when applied correctly, can help stimulate your vagus nerve in your brain. This forces your nervous system to shift from a more hypervigilant sympathetic state to a relaxed parasympathetic state. The parasympathetic state is where you need to be in order to create. Now, once you've regulated your nervous system, you need to work on repetition, because the more you grow and evolve, you're going to keep being triggered. The subconscious mind learns through repetition. So continue to act in alignment with what you want in your new reality, and that will reinforce your new belief system. Also, act before you feel ready. You're not going to just wake up one day and become the new you. Confidence isn't what creates action. Action builds confidence. You promote confidence in yourself by continuously showing up, even on the days when you don't want to. And last but not least, become comfortable with being misunderstood. Growth requires leaving the old version of yourself behind, and the people around you who know who you've been are not going to understand who you're trying to become. They don't know the new you, and they're going to look at you crazy when you start changing. But you move forward anyway. You get one life, and you're not here to live for the validation of anyone else. If your life feels chaotic right now, if you're questioning yourself, if those old patterns start springing back up, remember that doesn't mean that you're moving in the wrong direction. It probably means that you're on the verge of something that you've never experienced before. The old version of you was built for that old reality, but you've outgrown that. And the discomfort that you're feeling is not a sign to go back. It's just the birthing pains of becoming someone new. I want to know, what's one area of your life where you can feel your old identity fighting against your new self? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, check out some of my other videos if you want more neuroscience-backed spiritual tools to help you shift into your highest self. Don't forget to subscribe and join this community, and I will see you all next week. I love you so much. Bye.